What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Yesterday, an interview was published between Bloomberg and Microsoft's Phil Spencer, where they talked about a bunch of things on the business side for Xbox, as well as finally confirming that a new gaming handheld is indeed on the way, which I think sets up a very interesting next few years for gaming, and we'll go over that here today. Also, we are going to be talking about PlayStation Plus, as a ton of games are going into the service, as well as some interesting classics, and then we do have LEGO Horizon Adventures that's out this week, and the reviews going live actually came in maybe a bit lower than people were expecting. So if you guys enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button, helps out a ton. And if new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And of course, members for the channel do get Newswave early. If you would like to learn more about that, click the join button down below this video. And we're going to start today with Dragon Quest III HD 2D. It is out today, and we did have reviews go live, which we can see this over on Metacritic, currently sitting at an 85. And I was going through some of the reviews, and I noticed Game Rant's. This one may be the best summary in general as to what the consensus was here. They say, as a remake, Dragon Quest III HD 2D honors the spirit of the original game in a way that preserves it for future audiences. For better or worse, this means retaining the grindy nature of an old school JRPG and some occasionally obtuse mechanics, but throughout the experience, it's hard to shake the undeniable feeling of nostalgia that permeates every moment of gameplay. So that's the biggest thing when you go back and you remake a title like this from the 16-bit era, when we have a lot of those JRPG tropes where it was just kind of grinding throughout the game consistently to keep pace with the level, or mechanics that feel kind of outdated now, and it's like, do we change this, or would that be too much to get away from its classic feel? And it seems like some of those mechanics and styles kind of stayed in there. Some mentioned that it'd be nice to have a slider you turn down to skip out on some of the random battles, but they opted to not go that route. The other thing, though, it appears there are performance issues on the Switch. Seems kind of expected now. Again, the system is kind of old at this point, but that's just sort of what we have right now with it. So I'll be checking it out actually today when I pick up a copy and see what we have here, and I'm sure I'll talk about it on the podcast this weekend. Also, here's an interesting collaboration for Call of Duty that it probably isn't shocking to people, but I will say, going back to the old days, like 2008, even when it was Halo and Call of Duty, it's still wild to see this. But this week, as he posted up, this is over on Insider Gaming, saying new leaks have surfaced online claiming that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 will soon feature collaboration between Halo, Doom, and Gears of War. Now, these seem to be coming from multiple different angles. We have Call of Duty data miners who are actually talking about this, as well as it being corroborated further by Special Nick. So it's not, again, not shocking, all right, that Microsoft would go, oh, we already own these intellectual properties. Let's go ahead and drop Halo into Call of Duty, because it would put a nice spotlight on Halo in a franchise of Call of Duty that's still wildly popular, whereas Halo has stumbled, as we've seen with Halo Infinite most recently. But time traveling back to 2008, if I had told you, hey, someday Master Chief potentially will be in Call of Duty, that'd blow people's minds, and they would just not believe you. They think you're crazy. So I assume this might be part of a battle pass at some point in the future here. Maybe Master Chief, and then you have something with Gears of War. Maybe Marcus Phoenix is in the game. Doom, obviously Doomslayer. So it'd be fun collaborations, and who knows, maybe that means that we would see Master Chief in a Microsoft published game, technically with Call of Duty, having some Halo representation. So interesting stuff to keep an eye on. Oh, and we had just talked about the GTA Trilogy, the definitive edition that got the update for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series. Well, it appears that same update that put a bunch of fixes out there, including lighting and other things, is live now for the Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Here's Nintendo Everything, for example, that has all the different patch notes here with version 1.112, again on the Switch. As I saw many people mention this in the comments, that it was a shame. Seemed to be kind of a delayed patch then. It went out later on for these other platforms. But good news, again, numerous fixes and improvements. Added classic lighting mode, which restores the look and feel of the sky in the original games. Again, just took 3 years to do it, but at least they did manage to get it to where the mobile games were introduced. So apparently Grocery Games really seem to not be happy right now with Rockstar. There's some stuff going on social media where they're unfollowing them, and they've been kind of removed from some of the credits around this update. So either way, at least this fix just took several years to get there. If you've been curious about this this Trilogy, seems like now it'd actually be a good time to pick it up. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with an interview between Bloomberg and Phil Spencer at Microsoft, and they sat down and talked quite a bit about the Xbox brand, sort of its position right now in the market, its health, what exactly we're seeing now after that Activision Blizzard acquisition, and the potential for new hardware, which is something that's been rumored and speculated on for quite some time, and it's felt many times like Sarah Bond was this close to just saying, yes, we are working on a handheld. Like, she didn't quite want to throw it out there, kind of alluded to it. Phil Spencer decided just go ahead and just get this over with. We can see this posted up. This is over on Bloomberg from Jason Schreier saying, the executive who has repeatedly professed his admiration for handheld game devices. This is correct because we've seen him with like the ROG Ally. We've seen him with that G Cloud. Remember that streaming device? He's walking around a convention with that one time. So yes, he definitely likes the idea of a handheld device to play games on. Said the expectation is that we would do something in that category. Although the company is working on prototypes and considering what it might do, Spencer also asked his group to look at the market and develop its vision based on what it learns. Such a device is a few years out, he said. Quote, longer term, I love us building devices, and I think our team could do some real innovative work, but we want to be informed by learning and what's happening now. And this would certainly be a sector to not rush into because there is a ton of sales potential there and a ton of potential to reach just new gamers. I mean, think about what happened with the Switch, where Nintendo comes out of a really, just a low point for them with the Wii U, and now we're talking about their Switch potentially passing like the PS2 and the DS just lifetime and setting new all-time highs in general for console gaming. And it blurs the lines, right? It's a hybrid system. It's a handheld, it's a console. So Microsoft seeing that, and then also seeing the Steam Deck, which I know there's a lot of PC handhelds, but I feel like still Valve continues to set the trend, and they've held steadfast right now when it comes to trying to introduce a new handheld, a new generation, every year. Now they're like, hey, we're going to wait until there's a sizable jump that's on the table from AMD as we're waiting for technology to continue to improve so they don't have to sacrifice battery life to where it's like an hour long. Like, if you have a handheld, you would like it to last more than 45 minutes to an hour, even in intense games. And the Steam Deck, especially with the OLED, I think has been improving on that quite substantially, just in general with the hardware that they have, but also with the software, and that's the biggest thing now. If you have a gaming handheld, you also have to have the applications, the software, the OS. It has to all line up really, really nicely. And that's the other thing that Phil Spencer talked about here, was just the overall application environment, the system software for handhelds. They need to get to a certain level, I feel like, before they start releasing a new Xbox handheld, which, years off, I think sets it up nicely for the next generation for Microsoft to have a home console and a handheld offering. Instead of an Xbox Series X and an Xbox Series S, you still have your Xbox Series X, your high-end machine that's reasonably priced in the market. He said he doesn't want to make a $1,000 system. Yeah, probably a good idea not to do that, but it's like a $500 or $600 system. But then instead of just a lower powered box that goes alongside of it at $300, you have a handheld that's probably like $400 or $500, let's be real, but it offers that line of convenience. It differentiates itself from the other SKU that you have. Again, rather than just being low powered, it's also portable. So it's just a way for them to reach more people, and I do believe that it is something we will see, as Phil Spencer says here. They're prototyping, they're viewing the market, they're taking notes, they're trying to figure out the best path forward. Do we try to make an ultra-powerful handheld? Do we make one that's okay, but it offers 6 hours of battery life? So that's give and take, right? And I think that's what they're trying to weigh out now, trying to build out this ecosystem that continues to be more and more software-based, while also delivering it with piece of hardware like an Xbox Series XXX or whatever they call it, and then their Xbox portable system. Couple years. Kind of aiming at like holiday 2026 still, but who knows, maybe it does fall into 2027, we'll see. Next up, let's continue on with this interview because there was another part of it that a lot of people were discussing, and that has to do with Microsoft and the way they're viewing their first-party properties, their first-party games, and other platforms. It seems that, they're going to continue doubling down on the idea of their games going to other platforms. Go figure. We can see this, though, from Phil Spencer, again, with Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, saying after releasing the first batch of Xbox games for Sony Group and PlayStation and Nintendo's Switch, Spencer is pleased with the results. Microsoft will do more of that, he said, and won't rule out any game in Microsoft stable. Saying, quote, I do not see sort of red lines in our portfolio that say, thou must not. It's too early to make any sort of decision on the next version of Halo, though, he said. Yeah. Still trying to figure out what the deal is with Halo. I kind of feel like we will see a Halo 1 remake so that Halo Studios can get acclimated to Unreal Engine. It seems like a project that would work well for them to try to get their bearings with that engine, since a lot of the source material and work's already done. It's just bringing it into this new engine. So maybe that's something that would go to other platforms. And I'm not even talking about, it's on the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6. You might just drop it on the Switch too as well. It's Unreal Engine. It's something that we've seen translates well enough between multiple different platforms, so why not try that development as well? But it would then come down to the next big mainline Halo game beyond a Halo 1 remake or something. But the way he's talking about it here, it wouldn't shock me at this point, saying there's no red lines, as that was previously reported. There are some things that are off limits. Doesn't appear to be. So I still think Halo is that big game for Microsoft that if you see it on another platform, okay, yeah, all bets are off. But I still kind of look at Forza that way as well, and that might be the next one up. Like Forza Horizon 5 could be released on PlayStation. I think that's a big deal. Forza's been around since the original Xbox days, so that is a storied Xbox franchise, and wouldn't shock me if that is actually the next one up. But it's working for Microsoft so far, and I think they're seeing the bigger picture here. I know the hardware thing is still weird to a lot of us who have grown up with consoles, and it's like, okay, the hardware is introduced and they back it up with games that are only on that hardware. Microsoft's seeing this as, hey, we have so many studios that we've kind of outgrown just a singular box, and now we can become the biggest publisher in gaming, like just outright. And I mean, yeah, we see what Call of Duty is doing right now, and that's just one property that they have. You look along the landscape of titles, it's a lot. So I think that's kind of what their mindset is right now. Reach a ton of people and yeah, make a bunch of money. Next up, let's talk about PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium tiers. These are all games that will be going live on November 19th. So we'll see these up next week. And I have to say, looking up and down the list of games, it's actually a pretty good diverse lineup. There's a lot of stuff going on here. So let's take a look over on PlayStation Blog. And we can see at the top, it's sure, why not? Grand Theft Auto 5. This has gone in and out of different services all the time, but there you go, Grand Theft Auto 5. I mean, they've sold, 200 some odd million copies. Just in case you somehow have never played this game, you know what? It's still fun. It's still a good game, even though it came out in 2013. So I guess check it out. Dying Light 2. This is actually a good release. I like Dying Light 2 quite a bit. Yeah, I kind of want to play that one on the PS5 Pro just to see what we're dealing with there. I'm just curious. That was one game that did have a performance mode that was kind of fuzzy from what I remember, so it's been a bit. I might go back and check that one out. Like a Dragon Ishin, another good one there. MotoGP 24. We have The Sims 4 Island Living. Apparently this is an add-on for Sims 4. Unfortunately, I'm not a Sims player, so I can't really tell you, but it says expansion pack and it says requires the original game, The Sims 4. So let me know in the comments about that one. And we have Digimon Survive, which is not a typical Digimon game. Might actually surprise some people, so that's a good one to throw in there. Overcooked All You Can Eat, awesome multiplayer game there. Stick Fight, the game, not familiar with that one. Clash Artifacts of Chaos. Then we have Killer Frequency. Hungry Shark World. And Chivalry 2. Moving over to PlayStation Plus Premium, we have actually a pretty good PSVR 2 title going in there with Synapse. This is one that I saw many people discuss and say was actually really, really fun. I haven't played it myself, but I mean, I have PlayStation Plus Premium. Might be time to dust off the old PSVR 2 headset and check it out. Moving over to the classics lineup, though, we have Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, and then Blood Omen 2. They even mention preparing yourself, readying yourself for the launch of Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered. That is next month, so that'd be really cool to see that come out as well. But there you go, we have Blood Omen 1 and 2 to get you ready. And then this is an unfortunate one, because on the one hand, it's cool to see it recognized. On the other, well, Resistance Fall of Man and Resistance 2. These are streamed games on the PS3. Again, unfortunate, yes, because streaming's gotten better for Sony, but these things are still running off of Cell processors in their data center. Those those boards that they set up specifically because they just could not get PS3 emulation right on the PS4. So, yeah, if this was a situation of, hey, these are native games, I'd say, you know what, this is incredible. This might be one of the better, like, classics lineup we've seen for premium, but it's streamed, so it just kind of checks out a little bit there. But otherwise, you know what? These games that they're dropping into extra and premium, pretty good month overall, I would say. Again, these are going live November 19th, so check them out. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about LEGO Horizon Adventures, which is out today. And this was an interesting one with the collaboration between LEGO and the Horizon franchise with Gorilla and that Switch logo popping up in the end card. So there's a lot of different angles to this one, but we did have reviews go live. It was on about 77 reviews at the time of this recording. And as you can see on Metacritic, currently sitting at a 71. It was actually lower than that earlier in the day. It was at like a 68 at one point, and it's gone up a few here to 71 now. But there were some pretty scathing reviews for this title, which, like, for example, you can see this one. This is from Eurogamer saying, I still don't know why LEGO Horizon Adventures exists or who it's for, and there's little evidence to suggest that Gorilla or Gobo know the answer either. Jeez, they give it a 2 out of 5 stars. Questioning the game's existence. That's tough. But then, like, over on Gaming Trend, for example, they gave it a 90, saying LEGO Horizon Adventures offers a playful retelling of Horizon Zero Dawn, blending the iconic story of Aloy with LEGO's signature charm, humor, and style. This isometric action-adventure game simplifies the original's intense narrative, focusing on environmental themes and character relationships, providing a lighthearted, engaging experience for fans of all ages. So, like, they're asking who this is for, right? To be honest, it's for, like, families and a younger audience. I kind of thought that was obvious for the most part. And I know there are LEGO games out there, like this one, for example. It was mentioned it being kind of short, like on the shorter side of things. Some LEGO games do take quite a while to get through. If you want to, like, 100% them, good luck. It's going to take a long time. And that mostly, to me, ends up being kind of repetitive in nature. A collectathon that's even more of a collectathon on top of that. But for this, it already kind of has a narrative to follow. So if you've played a Horizon game before, you're going to go into this and be like, why does this feel like it's like it would be like preschool Horizon, essentially, right? Again, they cut out a lot of the intense narratives and stuff. And that's kind of been the idea of this collaboration, though, to my understanding, is introduce it to a younger audience, one that's more approachable, yes, with simpler controls, and that's kind of it. So I never thought this game would get, like, super high marks, but the idea of it coming in even at a 68, I will say, initially I saw it, I was a little surprised on that one. Even a 71, it's like, ooh, okay, that's, again, lower than it expected here. And this being, again, a collaboration with Gorilla directly involved, probably not the scores they were looking for, but I am curious if any of you out there are picking this one up. I kind of saw it and said, okay, LEGO, I understand what I'd be getting into. I'm going to pass for now, but I'm curious what some of the other people out there, where your take is on this, and if this was kind of falling in line with your expectations as to a LEGO Horizon style game. And before we go to the comment of the day, we'll take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I ask, these are some of the top rated games of 2024. Which one would you consider to be game of the year? So Astrobot's just leading the way right off the bat at 42%, then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then Metaphor's actually right behind that one. I'm a little surprised. I kind of thought Metaphor would be at least second. I understand Astrobot does have that wide-ranging appeal, right? But I don't know. I thought Metaphor would have been a bit higher. And then Balatro, just leading up the pack at the bottom there. Hey, you know, Balatro is a highly rated title this year, and all these games are. I can only have 4 slots, by the way, because YouTube took away my 5th poll option for some reason. But still, this is kind of where we are, and that's, I feel like the 3 frontrunners right now is Metaphor, Astrobot, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but we still don't have the Game Awards. They haven't put out their nominations yet, which is a little interesting. I thought we would have them by now because we're a month out from the Game Awards. So maybe that's a next week thing because it's Thursday now, and usually they announce maybe even the week before. So I guess we'll look out for some kind of announcement here today or tomorrow that next week we'll be getting the nominations. But yeah, I would fully expect at least those 3 right there, those top 3, to be right there front and center. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from Daigo, says, who else remembers the 199 PS3 Slim plus Uncharted 1 and 2 and Infamous 1 and 2 bundle like 12 years ago? We used to get some awesome bundles and limited edition releases for Black Friday. You remember the 3DS that was like the new Super Mario Bros. New 3DS system that was like the normal size 3DS? It wasn't like an XL, and it was $100. Now you look online, that thing's like $300 or $400. So if you bought it then, hey, good for you. But we also had bundles for Sony with the PS4 Slim with Spider-Man 2018. It's $200. But then GameStop put like a $50 gift card on top of that while supplies last. It was wild back then. Now it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe again for like the 6th year in a row. Great. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. If you missed yesterday's Newswave, I'll leave it up here in a card for you. Or maybe you wanted to check out the latest episode of Click R3 that just went live today, I'll leave that right below it. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.